really bad.
Lori, can you tell us, is that a wig?
It doesn't look like a wig, but it looks like the sign of the times. If you had big shoulders, you had big hair.
It's really ugly. Where did you find that sucker? I could have given you 50 million pictures that look a lot better than that. You did it for comic relief, right?
I did not.
Yes, you did.
Would I do that?
Yes, you would. I mean, you had to search for that one. That's the worst picture out there.
It is not. I've seen all. It's not, Jane. Trust
Really?
me.
Oh, well, I don't think I've seen those.
I think you look terrific. If it was 1991, 93, whatever it was. Lori, did you ever cut hair like that, that type of style?
Don't admit it.
Nope.
Although when I walked in the door, because I was caught up in the humidity, my hair was so frizzy, and I asked for her help. You should have seen me before.
Lori is a miracle worker
Yeah,
when
I
it
agree.
comes to hair. If there's, how many stylists are at your salon?
I think it's 20.
There's 20 stylists in Lori's salon. If she left, they would probably have to close the doors, no joke.
Why?
That's how busy she is.
Really? Lori.
And she also does a very specialized hair replacement
Now,
process.
I want to tell you, I'm surprised you don't have these pictures, because I have my hair blown out in every country I visit. And in fact, we're going to talk to my partner in crime, Karen, in a minute. And Karen and I recently were in London, and of course we had to have our hair blown out. And we went to a place called Ducks and, oh, I can look it up. Ducks and...
In London?
In London. It's a hilarious hair salon, and it was great. It was wonderful. They did a great job. So I can tell you where to get your hair blown out in just about every country I've ever been to. My favorite was in China. I know you want to talk about this.
No, I do. I absolutely
Hair is
do.
really, really, really,
Actually,
really
you want to talk to
important.
Lori about this.
Okay,
Hair is
but in
important.
China, so that they're not used to hair like mine, which is very naturally curly, and I had 5 guys crowded around speaking a language I didn't understand, and they're all looking at me and examining me and trying to figure out what to do with my hair. It was really fun. So I'm making a documentary about getting your hair blown out
Oh, that's very
everywhere in the world.
That's very cool.
I think it's a
Don't
good idea, don't you?
Yeah.
I was actually thinking that sometime you should blow out Jane's hair on the set so she could say she had her hair blown out like on our show or something.
I'd do that. I'm willing to do just about anything for a
Would
good
you do
blowout.
that, Lori?
Sure.
I'm trying to find on my pictures if I can right now. We could ask Karen. She'll remember the name of it, but we haven't talked to her yet.
By the way,
so.
Frank, you're going to need to go into my email and download the pictures and put them in the system that came from Emily.
Okay.
So
okay.
we went, oh, here it is. A ducking good blow dry. That's what it's called.
That's pretty funny.
And that's Karen right there.
That's pretty funny. So, Jane,
That is funny.
I hate to cut you short or cut your hair short. It's a joke.
I get it.
Yeah. But I do want to get into this. I mean, the last we left off, you were like in Iowa or something, and you came here and you became a famous news journalist. And then you've kind of evolved from then, and somehow, I know you travel a lot, but somehow you found CBD, or it found you.
It found me. It was searching for me.
Do tell.
So, first of all, the CBDs, which I mean, have you not walked into every deli and store and every place and you see this CBD infused? I found some water in my local deli the other day, and it said CBD infused, and it cost $6.76. That's a lot for some water. So CBDs are a really big deal because they've got a lot of unique abilities, and they really are very useful. And they can, I got to take this out because it's got
Yes,
such
sir.
feedback, I
Yeah.
can't stand it.
Yeah.
We didn't have feedback at NBC.
Yeah. I
Ever.
know there's something we can do. It's not feedback, it's that you're delayed.
I'm delayed. I'm kidding about that. We used to get this all the time, but anyway,
Oh, you
I can't
did?
hear myself think. So CBDs, so CBDs come from really 2 places. The cannabis plant, which also has, of course, marijuana. But the CBDs I'm talking about do not have the TCH, which is the stuff that, the hallucinogenic that's in marijuana.
Tetrahydrocannabinol.
Very good. You are good.
Well, I didn't do the right thing when I was in high school, so that's how I know.
He was in prison, had a long time to learn about it. Um, so it doesn't have that in it. And then also from the hemp plant, which is a different form of CBD, but it's a CBD nevertheless.
Right, it's rope.
And so what happened in November of 2018 is that the Farm Bill was passed, and which allowed hemp to actually be grown legally anywhere in the United States. CBDs are legal. They're not legal when it has the THC in it. So,
But
there's-
how did it find you? Did you did you need it for some reason, or did you get sick? Did you have a problem with your hip? What was the deal?
no. I just became very interested in it, and through Karen Ballou and Jay Lucas, who we're going to have Karen on in just a second, they own a bunch of beauty businesses. And through that, it started to evolve in them actually thinking about putting CBDs in products. And I started to learn about it, and I became very fascinated. Also, it's a real trend out there now. And as a journalist, I always wanted to become, I always like to know, what is this? What is it all about? What does it mean? And the problem with CBDs, which is one of the reasons I'm really getting involved, is they're all over the place. You can see water, you can see, tinctures, there's salves, there's things you can drop in and make like an remember Alka-Seltzer? You can make a fizz thing. There's all kinds of things that you can do, but nobody ever tells you what's really in it because it's not regulated. And it really won't be regulated because it doesn't come, for the most part, doesn't come under the auspices of the FDA. It could when it's in food products, but it doesn't when it's not.
You don't think it'll ever be prescriptive at some point with the...
I don't know why it would be, because it's like aloe, or it's like lavender,
Right.
or all kinds of other plants that we use. And part of the reason I think we're all kind of going towards it is because it's natural. And I will tell you that in some cases, I've seen some products where the CBD, it has a delivery system. Like, for example, let's say there's a lot of people that become opioid addicts because they've had some kind of an injury. They're a middle-aged guy who's going out playing football on the weekends. Does this
Right.
sound familiar?
Not to me, but
Okay,
to my
but
friends.
you know what I mean.
I'm a football weenie.
Okay, well, so you have some sort of an injury, and then you get it. You have the surgery, or you have whatever it is, and you have a lot of pain.
Yeah.
And so you start to take opioids, and then all of a sudden, next thing you know, you're addicted. I mean, more people that are in the baby boomer generation are addicted to opioids than almost any other.
Wow.
So, now think about this logically. So if CBDs, if the cannabis or the CBD can actually help in the delivery system of going in a lotion or a salve or a spray of some sort, going right to, like, say, maybe it's a really bad elbow. You put that on, and it will relieve the pain for up to 6 hours, which I've seen it done in some products. Now you don't need to take the opioid, and you don't have to take something that goes into your system. So it's a good deal, right?
Right.
So there's all kinds of aspects about it that can be really beneficial.
So, I think maybe we ought to bring Karen in,
Uh-huh.
because one of my big questions is going to be, and I said it in my posts today, was, is it a trend or is it a fad? Because the fact that it isn't everything makes me feel like people, companies and businesses are putting it in just so they can say they have CBD in their product. But why? And eventually it's going to, well, don't you think it's going to consolidate, or don't you think it's going to, that maybe it's just a fad?
I don't know, Karen?
Can we bring Karen in, Frank?
Karen.
Hi, can you hear me?
Hi,
Hey,
Karen.
hi, Guy.
Karen.
How are you?
Jane, could you introduce Karen?
This is Karen, the great and lovely, wonderful Karen Ballou. So she's one of the founders of LB Equities, which is an equity company, but she also is the creator and founder and everything for a company called Immunicology, which uses French clay as its main, one of its main ingredients. But she's also involved with me and with her husband Jay and a bunch of other people in this whole CBD network that we're creating. And she's working on putting CBD in a bunch of different products. So she knows a lot more about CBDs than I do. So answer
Well, and
Cliff's
the-
question.
Right. So, Karen, what do you think about my question? Oh, actually, I need to look at the camera so I can look at you. Karen, what do you think about? Is it a trend or is it a fad?
Well, first of all, I want to say hello and say hello to your audience and just thank you for having
Th-
me on the show today.
Thank you for coming on.
And my partner over there, Jane. How are
Yeah,
you?
I'm fixing my mic.
Yes, I see that. But I just, to your question about is it a trend or is it a fad? I've been developing skincare products for many, many years, and as Jane mentioned, immunology, which is all about working with French green clay water, and it also helps to take down inflammation. And aging is all about inflammation. So we've been using hemp in the product for a long time in immunology, but we have to say is that it is not really a fad. It is actually going to be something that becomes part of the norm. In our history of all ingredients in the marketplace, I must say this is the first time an ingredient has taken on such a wild west approach. And obviously it's because of the way that it entered into the market by being marijuana and holistic, and that whole aspect of having be illegal. So now that we've actually realized there's about 112 different parts of the marijuana plant, and we know that we can get this CBD in different types of forms that benefit the body and are healthy for the body. So when I go into formulate, I'm going to just use an example of where you can take chamomile or lavender, and these are what we call commodity ingredients in the cosmetic industry, and bring certain value to not only the body but for the skin. And skin being the largest organ of the body, you're actually putting something on the body, such as a chamomile or a lavender, that's going to soothe or help soothe that skin, or even relax someone from the lavender, from the scent, the aromatherapy aspect. So let's just take this from that standpoint, and now we're taking a plant that's been illegal, and we've realized through research that there are many other benefits. And those benefits are just astounding, but because of the illegal side of it, there's been a lot of questions. So this is going to be, I want to say, we're at the beginning, of course, but others are and have been on this trail for quite a few years. So we're going to be living with this, I really believe, and just through the knowledge and looking at the research and the data of all of this, we're going to be living with this in a very healthy way, because it really brings a lot of benefits to the skin, to the body. And as Jane commented, you can put this product on the skin in the right formula and help with some of that pain. So if we can help someone with pain, it's going to be far better. But I'm going to also say that if we can help people who are and do have inflammation of the body on the skin, we're going to be able to help through an anti-aging side as well. And so I think this is the question you're asking is, how is this? Is it a trend or is it a fad? Not a fad. It is in that sense trending, but it will have a longevity. We will live with this for the rest of our lives and generations to come.
You know, Karen, don't you? Because we were at a conference, or I don't know what would you call it, but it was a gathering of all kinds of CBD products a few weeks ago. And remember, there were like all these people there that had made stuff in their kitchen tables, and some of it we were like, "Are you kidding?" And some of it looked really like it had a future. So don't you think it'll all kind of shake out?
I lost your sound.
Got to see while we were at the conference is, there are people that are just doing it in their kitchen saying, hey, let me get on the trend. But the problem is that there are certain techniques, and in the cosmetic industry, there are certain things that we have to follow in order to be on the shelf. There's labeling that has to be, there's, beyond the labeling, those ingredients that are being brought together and mixing together to make sure that it's a sound product. There's also testing on preservative systems that are going in there. So, you really can't, for the longevity of a product, you can make bread at home, but if you're going to become the bakery for, the grocery store, you're going to have to go to the big place and go where the professionals are who know how to do this for distribution. So, again, I want to say the bespoke little stores or even those little bodegas that might bring in, Susie's little cream, that might be fine, but you don't know what's always in it. You don't know how it's being formulated. And that's a key factor here is when we went to the show, you can have great packaging, great jar, but what is in that jar? And who is, I want to say, a little bit of judging a product. When someone gets excited, they don't always know, is that really real or does it really work or what's really happening with that company will be here tomorrow. So a lot of these factors are happening in this particular, what we call the new trending CBD. But we do know that some of this will fall out because not everyone can be in this business because not
Right.
all products are going to work.
Karen, I have a question for you. It's kind of a twofold
Yes.
question. Number one, is the way that you're using it, is it in a topical way? Or
Yes.
is anybody ingesting it?
We are not, well, I shouldn't say that. We have the topical. We do have an isolate with one of our brands. We do have a full spectrum, but none of these have THC. So we are looking at this more from a point of health, of taking down inflammation when you take this type of ingestible, which is in a dropper form. And you take that one for either anxiety, inflammation, sometimes sleep. And this is what's been studied out there that this will do without having the hallucination aspect of it, which is the THC side. So it's really important that the education on this is really important. And I think this is where the confusion has come. But I think the excitement of all of this has been, wow, look at, marijuana is now being used in skincare creams. Well, it's not marijuana that's being used in skincare creams. It's not necessarily marijuana that's in all the tinctures. So again, we're using it for the point of the inflammation. We're using it for the health benefits because of that inflammation.
So, because it's topical and you sell various beauty products, is the CBD going to target different areas of the body?
Yeah, so, the skin itself, being the largest organ of the body, as I mentioned before, is yes, if you have your elbow, Jane mentioned this before, you're going to put it on the elbow and you're going to find, wow. And I had that issue going on not too long ago where I had a problem with my elbow and I have to say it was almost a year and a half, had this problem and someone said, hey, this really works. And I put it on and now I don't have that problem. My arm, my the whole aspect of that inflammation is gone. So I could attest to it myself because I was in pain. I even had a therapist work with me through my workouts to see how I could work through it, and it didn't help. But when I put the CBD cream on, it went away. So I do know that from the topical side, also with skin, that's another very important part because even through skin with the face, there's that inflammation aspect. If we're using skincare on our face every day, we want to be taking down inflammation on our skin, on our face every day, on our décolleté, on our neck, on our arms. So anything that we can do to be in reducing that inflammation, that is a key factor to CBD. Of course, there are other benefits too of the health benefits that can help as well. With the vitamins that you get, or whatever else you put into the lotion or the cream, you get those benefits as well.
Jane, are you using it?
Of course.
What are you using it for?
I use it I take the little drops and put them underneath my tongue for calming, sometimes to help me sleep, that sort of thing. One of the first experiences I ever had with CBD was I got some salve that a friend of mine told me about that he had ordered. This is before the big trend really occurred. It came from a bunch of nuns out in California. And they'd been making it and selling it for years. I think it's called like Sisters of the Valley or something like that. And so I would use that as a salve on something that would ache or hurt. I don't have a lot of pain or joints or anything like that, but I like using it for calming effects.
Can it be used for like rashes or anything? I mean, if you put it on, will it help like a rash? Or like
Karen?
someone with psoriasis?
I don't know. Karen? Can you hear us? Could you hear that, Karen, about can it be used for like a rash?
Yes, absolutely. Well, that's all based on inflammation. So yes, and yes, you could use it on, eczema and psoriasis. And, there isn't a claim to say it cures it. It will definitely relieve it. So important that if you do have that, to put the cream on. And some of the other ingredients that are in it, you've got to be cautious of that because you don't want other ingredients that are in there that could be irritating to the skin. But if it's a really clean formula and one that would be beneficial for that particular skin, then definitely you can use it on eczema and psoriasis.
So you see, it's all purpose.
Of course. I do have I know it's isolated, but Karen, we have here Lori, who handles all the comments on the show. Jane knows her. Lori actually has a pretty fascinating story about CBD.
Oh,
Lori, can you
I wanna hear it.
tell us a story?
It's not a people story.
Does it matter?
No, I guess not. Well, my
Where's your microphone?
Shelby, what?
You need a, we can't hear you. You're talking about Shelby, your dog, and the
Yes.
area of pets, because that's a whole nother big area.
It's just a great story.
So my
Can we
Shelby,
hear you?
Can you hear me?
Come over here. Just come over here. Talking to my mic. Talking to my chest.
You can't hear me, Frank?
Nothing.
Really?
I was able to hear it before.
Hello, can you hear me now? No.
Literally, just here. Come over here. We're going to share a mic.
We have 50 mics here. We can't get two working. What kind of...
Okay. Wait, so let's
Hi.
get Shelby.
Wait, where am I?
Wait, just
Can you hear me? Frank, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Shell, come here.
camera's
Shelby,
straight
So
ahead.
this is Shelby, the dog that's bigger than
come
me.
here. And Shelby got up one morning with very bad
Shel.
inflammation,
Come here, Shel.
and she could barely walk. Just like all of a sudden, she is a 10-year-old Great Dane, and she could just barely walk one day. And I rushed her over
Except-
to the vet, and she had inflammation in her spine and inflammation in her hips.
I just did an Instagram, sorry.
And we could barely get her out of the car to get into the vet or out of the vet. And so she went on an anti-inflammatory and a bunch of, medications from the vet. And then her liver enzymes went high. She wasn't doing well, and every day was getting worse and worse. And 2 weeks later, my vet said to me, I think you should try CBD treats. And I didn't know that much about it. I didn't know anything about CBD
Right.
treats. And he said, I just want you to use this one company that was certified by Cornell University. So I bought them, and I would say within 5 days, she was up and down the stairs,
That's
running,
amazing.
had her appetite back, and now I only give her this one kind, but she is off all medical medications, and she is only on her CBD treats now. That's it. And it's 3 months already? And she can run like she was 5. Plus, she has a better attitude, she eats better. Stop licking Jane in the face. It really helped my dog.
She has the hots for other women.
Yeah, she's just a lover.
We thought she was at death's door.
Yeah, she could barely walk. If I tell you, she couldn't even get herself up and down. And now it's amazing. It's really
I
amazing.
have to tell you, here, Shelby, let me see you.
Shell.
Here you go.
Here.
I'm taking Instagram during the show, but that's it.
have
Okay,
your mic.
so, that is not it's not an unusual story. I have heard that before about pets, and which brings one of the things, she weighs 137
35
pounds,
pounds,
135 pounds. Okay, so that's one of the things you need to think about, is that when you've got that's another thing when you think about with this whole CBD issue is how much is right for the right person, and there's no way of knowing. So it's a little precautionary thing.
Can you overdose?
Well, it's not like you're overdosing on a hallucinogenic. It's like no. I
So
don't
it's like
think
a vitamin C where whatever you
Yeah,
don't
like-
use, you
Yeah,
leaves your system.
pretty much, I think. I mean, Karen, is it possible to overdose on CBDs?
No, you can't overdose on that, not at all. So, and to that.
We keep
point
losing her
about-
sound.
Can you hear
Can
me?
we hear her?
Yeah, I can hear.
Oh, I can't. Oh, it's because I don't have my...
You worked where? Go ahead, Karen.
Yeah, no, you can't overdose on that. But one of the things I did want to mention is we have in our network, we have a store called Standard Dose. And the purpose of that store here in Manhattan is that you can learn about your dosing of that, in which is standard. And so, great name of the store. It's right on Broadway and in Manhattan here. And we also have a website on that. And the reason that we really felt compelled to do this is that the biggest question out there is, how much do I take? What's the dose that I take? And so we really want to educate people on what it is and how much to take. So, anyone who is in question about that, that has been probably one of the biggest problems is, how much do I take? Is it okay for me to take? There's certain medications that I'm on. Is it okay to take it for that reason as well? When you're putting it on your skin and you're putting it on because you have inflammation because of a sports injury or exercise issue, things of that nature, no. You can even take a bath with the CBD, which is great, and soak in it in that way too, because there are bath bombs to do that with now. So the answer to that question is no. I think one of the things is do look up standard dose. That will help you educate you as to how much to take, what's the dosage that you should take. So I think that is a big question.
Yeah, that's something that you really need to think about. But and again, it's back to that issue of all these people that are getting into the game that they may not even have they might have only a tiny percentage of CBD in something, but then they claim they do.
Right.
So is it like snake oil? That part of it? I don't know. But we're gonna get to the truth.
Right, but here's what I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you, no matter what industry you're in, they're going to be charlatans.
Yeah.
They're going to be sleaze bags, and they're going to be snake oil salesmen, which is what gives a lot of industries a bad reputation.
Correct.
So you have to know how to ferret out who's the real deal
Exactly.
and who's the snake oil salesman.
Exactly.
So that's the question for you guys. How do you ferret that out?
You do it by educating people, by really researching products. I mean, ever since I started to let it out there that I was working on the CBD project and getting to the truth of it, you can't believe what I've been inundated with. I've got one of my former trainers has developed a product. He's sending it to me. I've got people I know from all over the country that are like growing hemp, and it's been amazing what's come my way. My job is to find out what's the truth and what's not. And that's
So
what we intend to do with what we're creating, which is called Kush Media.
Okay. Karen, were you going to say
So-
something?
Yeah, I wanted to just say also, I just wanted to go back to the point of standard dose in our store and our website. One of the things is that we have quite a few brands on there, and we do third-party testing to make sure that those products really do have CBD in it, because there are people out there who are the charlatans, which is what you were talking about before, and those charlatans that are putting the brands together, the consumer doesn't know who they are. So we really want the consumer to know who we are and what we're doing with standard dose, and know that we are using a third party to actually make sure that the products that we sell are really real products. And we have found that products have come our way, and we have taken them off the site because they claimed they did have the CBD in it and it didn't. So they were immediately pulled from that site. So the consumer does have to know that getting it from a very legit company who really has a process to legitimize that product, that it's working.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is as Jane just said, we are going to be introducing this fall Push Media, which will be out of Times Square, and we will be doing a lot of content and educating consumers even further than standard dose. We've been educating on lots of different subjects, even from what's happening with all of the different CBDs that are in the CBD plant, and then also what's happening with THC, so people can understand the differences out there. What's the difference between medical marijuana to CBD for skin to facial to also your ingestibles and your food. So we really want to make sure that we really stand out in that education, and we feel that we can do that. Of course, with Jane on board here with us, she is going to be able to do all that, I want to call interviewing, and make sure she gets to the real source and knows exactly what is happening. So we're so excited to be working together on this project.
So I want to get to
Are
that in
you-
1 minute. I just want to find out when and where is this event?
The Kush Media is going to be in Times Square. It's a studio, and the media will be actually launching it in October. So stay tuned. We'll love to go back and tell you more about it.
Okay,
It's,
so
it's the launch of the actual media platform.
gotcha. So why don't you guys talk about that a little bit,
About what it's going to be.
about what it's going to be?
All right. Well, do you want to start or shall I?
I think you should start.
Okay, so we have a studio in Times Square that's being renovated as we speak. We have the website is, there was one that existed, but we're redoing it. We have, all the work that goes into creating the content, creating the way it's going to look, creating all of that. That's all just in the process of being completed as I speak. We're starting to work on the content now, and it will have a whole area about pets. We're going to have pet stories on it
Excellent.
and pet truth. There's going to be wellness. There'll be health.
I'll be there.
What?
I'll be there.
You should be.
I will be.
There's going to be included in the beauty part of it. There's going to be a section about hair, because there's a lot of CBDs, hair products that have CBDs in them now. So it's going to cover the whole gambit, just as we would about any other subject. It'll be a really news and information platform. Lots of video, lots of images, lots of stories. We know everybody from growers to producers to the manufacturers to consumers there are lots of great consumer stories out there. And it's also a product that goes for every age, which is so funny because most sites these days are aimed at one specific age group. But if you start to look at all of the data, you can really see who uses it and why. So for the baby boomers, there's one customer at Standard Dose that was talking about how he buys CBDs for his 80-year-old grandmother who has arthritis, and he buys the CBDs for himself for his anxiety. And sometimes he lets his parents have some of it for a little bit of fun.
Really?
So there.
Funny. So, did you have a question?
No, but just from what you were talking about before is,
Your mic is
We
working.
can't
Just-
hear you.
Just bring closer to you. For some reason, I heard you tapping on it.
so just what you were talking about before, about the dosing and everything and where you get it from, because you said every corner you can get CBD oil. My veterinarian only uses one company, because he said you could buy it anywhere, but you will just get it from this one company. And as far as the dosing, there was like an initial dose for the dog, but after that the dose went down and I felt it wasn't quite enough, and it's almost like I kind of got her to a point where she was comfortable, and so you almost have to do it, you almost have to kind of feel your way around the dosing a little bit.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then the accompanying stuff, like if it's an edible, does it taste good?
Right.
And the flavor and that sort of thing. And with a lotion, does it feel nice in your skin? Are you seeing effects from it? The tincture or the what you might put underneath your tongue, is it making you feel less anxious? Maybe you need more of it. Maybe you need less. Maybe you need a different kind. I mean, but that goes with almost any product you buy anyway for yourself. So it's all kind of an evolution.
Well, we're so early on that it's almost like we're all a big test market for it.
Exactly. You can be a
That's
guinea
right.
pig.
Can't wait. I need an ache and pain.
So
If I can taste.
we should see if Karen wants to add on to what I was talking about with Kush Media.
Absolutely.
Karen?
Well, I think that you did a great job. You should be in the news business.
Ah, I'm getting back in it.
So I just want to say that we'll also have some shows there that we'll be bringing some guests in. So I just said earlier, and I think the extent of this is really across all, as you said, Jane. But the importance here is that we really get that education out there. So what is being said here is let's get rid of the charlatans. Let's get the real deal, get the real information out there, so that the consumers can be safe when they go and they start to use the product and they're buying it at real legit places, not just at the corner street. It's a really and I don't want to put those people down, but the point is that everybody wants to get on the bandwagon like the Wild Wild West type of thing. But we do need to be safe. We need people to know what is right and what is good and what is maybe part of that, charlatan side that you were talking about before. And that's what I really feel so strong about is I know Jane does and our team, that we want to be able to go out there and educate and get the best content and bring it together in a format that we'll be able to read, be part of, learn, grow with, and be healthy. That's the key here is how do we take this?
Yeah, bottom line.
Yeah.
So-
And it's also about aging. Inflammation is aging. We want to live longer, right? So this is a part of putting this into our lifestyle so that we can stay healthy.
Yeah.
So you guys will be producing original content, you'll be curating content, and selling product.
Ultimately, that will not be at the beginning.
What won't be the beginning?
The selling of the product.
Okay, gotcha.
We will ultimately do that, but that's a real process. And can I say this, Karen, that some of the products that you are creating and a couple of the beauty lines will have a lot of CBDs in them, but those aren't quite ready for market yet, right?
Yeah, I call that stay tuned. That's what stay tuned. I like to share that. I always do that with Jane. No, just follow me.
Yeah, exactly. Because there's some great products in the lineup coming, and that she's been formulating actually.
Yes,
So-
I think one of them is going to be I'll give you a little preview. It'll be for women. It'll be a little bit about anxiety, a little bit about sleep, and also relaxation. And I cannot wait to disclose it all because women are going to absolutely love this brand. So that's one of them. My immunology will have also more CBD in it. Right now we have the hemp in it, but we will have CBD coming out as well. And we have several other brands along the way. We have one that will be for men that will be amazing as well. So the list goes on, but just stay tuned. As I say, stay tuned. More to come.
Oh, and one of the other things is that Karen and I are going to be doing a lot of traveling around to things like spas where they have CBD products, where they have, there's all kinds of events surrounding CBD, so it'll give me a good excuse for us to be on the road. I'm thinking like Thelma and Louise, we're going to go check out CBDs
That
everywhere.
has a bad ending, Jane. It doesn't have a good ending, Thelma and Louise. You might want to rethink that.
Okay, it'll be Jane and Karen, or
Okay.
Karen and Jane.
That'd be better. So what does year one look like? What does year 3 look like? And what does year 5 look like for Kush Media?
Karen, this one's for you.
What Cliff, say that again. I missed one part of it.
Tell me what your goals are for year 1, year 3, and year 5.
Oh, that's a great one. One is get it off the ground. The third year is going to be the most well-known site in the marketplace for CBD and a go-to site to go to for CBD. Our e-commerce side of it will be not, it will only be influenced by the knowledge that we have and brands that can really meet the test of time of quality. And that we will have that as not as a driver of the media company, but more to be able to bring together and curate the best of the best products. And in our 5-year is that we do believe that as the media company comes together out there and where media is, we are going to be the number one media company in CBD. If you don't think it and you don't put it out there, it never happens. So I'm in that place of with our team and all of us. We know that we're going to be focused and driven to get this to be the place to go. So I say the first to the 5 years is really putting all those efforts into that. And I also want to say one last thing about that is I do think that because there's so much research that's coming out in all of these things, and a lot of biotech that's putting a lot of information out there, we'll be able to get first hand on this. We have so much to talk about in the biotech side as well. So in our 5 year, I see this as another whole area of media that has never ever existed in our lifetime, and I believe that Christian media is going to be that. So, who knows who might want to come along and buy us? That could happen too. We do have that in the plan.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and the thing is that it's also getting bigger and bigger. As I said, we were in London last week, and we were doing some work on this in London, but it's becoming a big global movement too. So I can see it'll have everywhere. But the thing that I continue to think about is we've spent a lot of time in this Western world of ours taking drugs for everything under the sun, and we all know that there's a lot of addictions, there's a lot of issues. No, it's a problem. If you think about the fact that we're going back to nature, which is really what cannabis is, as we are in so many other areas, we may actually end up being so much healthier because of all of this. And that's kind of one of my keen interests in doing it, is really using natural products, getting to a place where people are healthier and wiser and using things in a way that makes sense for them and doesn't cause other problems.
It's really cool.
That's
So
really,
when you guys, go ahead, Karen.
I just wanted to add to that is that, as a cancer survivor 11 years ago when I was diagnosed with Hodgkin, I have to say my journey has been about what can we do to really help one another in this area of health and natural remedies. And, we don't have to be, there's so many things that we can do to be in a healthy state opposed to in this very drug-affected state. So this just adds to the benefit of why immunology is what it is today in helping the skin, but then also I see the parallels to CBD is that's what, as Jane said, that same aspect of bringing health to the body, and the future of just generations are going to have a way to really work with natural remedies that are going to be so much more effective to being a healthy state, healthy mind through this kind of new research that has been able to be put together and brought to the public.
So when do you guys go live? When do you launch?
Early October is our aim. We've got a lot of work to do. Karen and I have got to go hang lights and fix that studio up, and then we've got to go drag in all of the people we know to do interviews, and then we have to go traveling in that convertible across the country. So I'd say early October, right? We don't have an exact date yet.
I agree with you on that. So Cliff, you'll have to come along for one of those road trips.
I'd love to. Where are we going?
You
Route
name
66?
it. We can find CBD there. And we did think about Route 66, didn't we, Karen? We talked about that.
Yeah. I lived right off of Route 66 growing up, so I knew it well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's pretty funny. Is there any information that we can find out about you guys now? Or when is your website going live? Or
we
where
can give
we get
that to you. We don't have a date for you yet.
Okay.
I mean, it's really a work in progress.
Okay.
But we're going to be doing some events about it between now and then, and we'll let you know. You can come to them.
I will.
You can sample some products.
I will. And you need to do
go
live.
You can go to our other site right now called standarddose.com and learn about dosing. That would be great now. You can do that.
I'm very interested to follow the evolution and progress of what you're doing. I think it's a great idea that you're almost like mashing up from all these different places information so that people can get a lot of information in one place.
Exactly.
And you can guide them.
Because right now you can't do that. If you want to find out about CBDs, you can hear this story here and this story here, and there's something on the national news, and then there's something, on a program over here, and then there's this website and that website, but you have no idea what the truth is.
Right.
And the key word about what we're doing with this Kush Media site is trust.
Which
And
is so
also-
important.
And it's spelled Koosh, by the way.
What's that?
Koosh.
Kush Media.
You got it.
That's pretty cool. Where'd the name come from?
Oh, after about 85 brainstorming sessions. We had there's a lot of interesting ways you can go with the cannabis plant. She's laughing because we were all sitting there. It took hours, right?
Did you have a lot of CBD?
One person came up with the idea in the room, in the think tank room, and was like, "That's it." Days and hours we put into it, and in one moment it happened.
Yeah. It all
Pretty
comes well, but because I think it's one of those things when you know something works, it just works.
Right.
So
You just know it.
you know it.
Yep. That's
Exactly.
why I got into this, because I just know.
You just know
I
it.
just knew it.
It's a chemistry thing.
You just know it. Yeah.
So.
Well, I'm really looking forward to watching the evolution of what you guys are doing.
Thank you.
I hope we get to do some lives with you.
Absolutely.
And is there anything else that you guys want to tell us, or anything else we can do? What we should? I'm not gonna ask you where I should go. I'm afraid of what you might say. But is there any other direction you want to give us before you go live? Before the launch.
Well, I'm just for people who out there are interested in CBDs, read the labels carefully, and really think about especially if you're putting into your body. Look at the contents and make sure you understand what you're ingesting. And Standard Dose, again, has got a lot of great information on it, standarddose.com. It's really well curated, and everything it's rated and evaluated and judged and all that sort of thing. So that can help you.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Karen. Thank you very much for being on.
Oh,
Really appreciate
you're
it.
welcome. Thank you for having me.
Sure.
See you later, alligator.
And Jane, I'm hoping that I see you soon.
You will.
And next week, you might want to watch our show. We're having on the former CEO of Pitney Bowes.
Oh, cool.
And he has a new startup all about AI. So he's going to be on. Mike Critelli will be on next week at
Perfect.
5:30 p.m.
Perfect.
Eastern Time, because we reach everybody all over the world. So anyway, have a great week. Next week is our last show until September the 8th. We're actually taking off the month of August.
Why?
Sharpen our tools, clean up the studio, get some things upgraded, build some more processes
You're
here.
gonna get Lori's microphone working?
Yeah, we have like 50 microphones here, and we're constantly having problems with microphones and cables. It is the bane of our existence.
Oh, there you go.
Anyway, have a great week, and we'll see you next Monday.